Everyone saw Alex Eala completely dismantle her opponent in Rome to secure her historic spot in the 2026 Women's Tennis Association Top 30. The media is praising her baseline power, but they are completely missing the real story. Eala did not just overpower her opponent, she trapped her in a tactical masterclass that nobody caught on live television. We are talking about a historic milestone here. Securing a top 30 ranking as a Filipino player is rewriting the entire landscape of Asian tennis history, yet the sports headlines today only talk about how hard she hit the ball. The truth is terrifying if you are the next player facing her in the draw. Eala set an invisible trap right from the very first set of the match. It was a trap so deeply psychological that the commentators completely missed it. We have the wide-angle camera footage to prove it. You will see how she forced a seasoned clay court specialist into total submission without ever looking like she was trying too hard. To truly understand the magnitude of this victory, you have to realize the insane pressure resting on the shoulders of Alex Eala. This was a literal win or go home scenario. You also have to understand the unique physics of the tennis courts in Rome. The red clay absorbs the speed of the ball and demands absolute patience. The player standing across the net from Eala was a classic clay court specialist. Think of this opponent like a solid brick wall built to withstand any explosion. Most players try to hit the ball straight through the heavy dirt and eventually they beat themselves. Eala knew she could not play that standard game. Instead, she and her coaching team developed a highly unorthodox strategy. They decided not to smash the wall. They decided to quietly remove the bricks from the very bottom until the whole thing collapsed on its own. This required a level of mental discipline that is incredibly rare. If you find yourself fascinated by these hidden mental battles happening just beneath the surface of professional sports, then you belong right here with us. Join our community by subscribing so we can keep bringing you the deep tactical breakdowns that the mainstream sports networks constantly ignore. Facing a clay court specialist who acts like a human backboard meant that standard heavy topspin was never going to cut it, which brings us to the first layer of the unseen master plan. Take a close look at the wide-angle shots from the second game of the first set. Notice the return position of Alex Eala. She intentionally dropped back a full 1.5 meters deeper than her statistical average for the entire season. 1.5 meters on a professional tennis court is an absolute eternity. Most analysts watching the live broadcast assumed she was simply intimidated by the brutal power of her veteran opponent. But why would a player known for aggressive baseline dominance suddenly retreat like this? By moving 1.5 meters back, she is completely changing the visual landscape of the court. The opponent sees this deep return stance and immediately thinks she has gained the ultimate upper hand. Eala is effectively using her deep position to absorb the power of the opponent like a giant sponge. She is making the opponent swing harder and harder just to get the ball past the service line. The physical toll begins to mount very quickly under the hot Italian sun. But the physical exhaustion is only half of the equation here. The deep return position is actually a carefully calculated illusion designed to trick the brain. Eala is creating a void that demands to be filled. By surrendering that court space early on, she was actively conditioning the brain of her opponent to rely strictly on the cross-court forehand. Every single time Eala stood deep, the opponent hit the forehand cross-court. The opponent became physically and mentally addicted to that specific shot because it felt so safe and so incredibly effective. Eala let her win those points to build a false sense of security. She let the opponent wire her brain to hit that cross-court forehand automatically whenever pressure was applied. Now we reach the critical turning point that changes everything. The score is tied late in the second set on a break point. The opponent looks across the net and expects to see Eala standing deep again. The brain of the opponent is locked securely onto autopilot. The serve comes down fast and heavy, but this time everything changes in a flash. Eala does not drop back. She explodes forward. She steps 2 full strides aggressively inside the baseline and catches the heavy ball incredibly early right on the rise. The opponent panics and still swings for the cross-court forehand out of pure muscle memory, but Eala is already standing exactly there waiting for it. She hits a crushing passing shot straight down the line. The invisible trap snaps shut. The opponent realizes in that exact split second that she has been played the entire time. Eala broke the mind of a veteran clay court specialist on the biggest stage possible. Did you catch this insane mental manipulation while watching the match live? Or did it fly totally under your radar just like it did for the commentators? I really want to know if anyone saw this coming before the trap finally closed, so drop your thoughts in the comments down below right now. Let me know if you think this is the smartest tactical play of the entire season. The statistics from the tracking data tell a chilling story of total control. Her opponent was directed to hit to the forehand exactly 40% more often than her usual tournament average. Eala managed to overwrite decades of muscle memory in less than an hour. Look at the exact moment Eala steps inside the baseline. The ball is struck and Eala crushes it down the line for a clean winner. The veteran does not even attempt to run for the ball. She completely freezes in place. Her shoulders immediately slump forward. She drops her racket head toward the red dirt in absolute defeat. She looks up directly at her coaching box in the stands with complete and utter helplessness. She has absolutely no answers left. By officially locking in her position inside the top 30, Alex Eala has sent a very clear message to the rest of the locker room. She is no longer just an emerging talent. She is a master tactician capable of dissecting seasoned veterans on their absolute best surface. This is a terrifying warning shot fired directly at the top 10 players in the world. She is playing complex mental chess while the biggest names on the tour are still playing checkers. Coaches around the world are going to be studying this exact match tape to try and figure out her patterns. But the beauty of a psychological trap is that it changes depending on the opponent. The rest of the tour has a massive problem on their hands. They now have to figure out how to beat a player who can control their minds just as easily as she controls the tennis ball. With Roland Garros right around the corner, do you think this tactical blueprint is enough to push her directly into the top 15? The clay season is only going to get more intense from here, and the mental warfare will reach a whole new level. Make sure you subscribe right now so you do not miss the exact answer when we break down her next major tournament performance.